Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this beautiful occasion, we meet again in Forum Selosoan, Sustainable Development Goals, Universitas Brawijaya. Yeah. The reasons why I speak English today is because we have a very special guest, but not only one, but we also have two. Alright, sebelum itu saya mungkin ada beberapa teman-teman yang belum tahu ya Forum Selosoan SDGs UB itu apa ya gitu. Saya akan menjelaskan terlebih dahulu. Jadi Forum Selosoan SDGs Universitas Brawijaya merupakan sebuah acara atau sebuah agenda kegiatan yang rutin dilakukan setiap hari Selasa, yang mana kami akan mengundang akademisi, pakar, dan para ahli di bidangnya untuk berbicara mengenai riset mereka atau bisa isu-isu sosial yang sedang hot gitu ya teman-teman ya. Nah, maka dari itu kita sudah sampai di Forum Selosoan SDGs UB yang kelima nih teman-teman. Okay? Thank you so much for your coming. And then sebelum itu ya, saya ingin memperkenalkan terlebih dahulu ya. Nama saya adalah Luli Prastuti atau biasa dipanggil Luli ya. Let me introduce myself. My name is Luli.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
They call me Pak Steve in the kampung.
Okay. And now I just told you that we have two special invited speakers. Maybe you guys are wondering who's the speakers are like that. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce you all our very special guest. The first speaker is Dr. Stefano Skipa Paleni.
Thank you. Scipa.
Oh, Scipa.
Scipa, yeah.
Scipa,
It's a different pronunciation in Italian. All right.
That's interesting. So, Dr. Stefano Scipa Paleni is a psychologist, musician, researcher, a music therapist, and art therapist. Wow, you are so multi-talented.
I'm different man, and I want to use different names, you know. I want to use Stefano Paleni for artist and Stefano Scipa, which is my father's second name, for the professional doctor, you know.
Wow.
I want to make a separation now.
But with similar face.
Yeah, the face is the same, but you can change the names.
Okay, it seemed like author when J.K. Rowling write Harry Potter, she used that pen name like that, atau nama pena in Indonesia. And then if she wrote another genre, she will choose another name too. And we never know about that, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing you have about names here. It's a different concept. I never understood if the second name is first or second. It's like you have two names, right? So, yeah, I will get this explained someday.
Wow.
There's a cultural feature.
Yes.
Different than in Europe.
Wow, that's very cool. Okay, and then another speaker is he is Reddy Eko Prasetyo M.Icom. Yay! Please welcome. Okay, he is a musician. Yeah, he's also a researcher. We have a lot of researchers here. And then he is the initiator of Festival Kampung Cempluk. And then he's also a part of Jaringan Kampung Nusantara and also a musician of duo Ethnic Holic. Wow, we have two amazing musicians here. Okay, how are you?
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, and how about Mr. Reddy?
Fine.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
we are fine. We can't say anything different, you know, in this situation. I can't say I'm sick, I have a problem here, you know.
Okay.
I can't say these things.
Actually, before we start our discussion, I would like to say that I'm very excited having these two handsome men in this room. And then especially because we're going to talk about sounds. So the topic is gonna be the Indonesian, yes. Indonesia's authentic sound, social sound, soundscape, yes, soundscape, okay. But before we start our sessions, we have very interesting video. And yes, this is this video of Dr. Stefanos Shipapaleni. That's the video of Mr. Stefano who's playing
Udaya, saxophone, and a composition is a part of a project which I call contemporary raga. Contemporary because it's modern, and raga because it's inspired to the structure of Indian traditional raga, which has a strict connection, very close connection with early European music. It's very, very similar.
Wow. Oh, that's great. So you also did numerous musical practices like that, or musical performances?
Yeah, what you practice by, what do you mean exactly by practice?
Performance.
Pardon?
Perform?
Yeah. I'm performing for like 25 years now, and different kind of music styles. I mean artistic music. I started with jazz, and I evolved in my own composition. I did music for theater show, television, and I also played some rock when I was younger. And I practice music therapy, which is a combination of the art of manipulating sound with the with the objective, with the goal to produce some kind of therapy that solves some psychological problems. That is the point with music therapy in my own practice. You use the music to heal psychological conflicts.
Yeah. That's very helpful, especially when after COVID-19 outbreak, we have a lot of mental health problem like that.
Yeah, the music can give a lot of relief. It can liberate emotion. It can help maybe in this regard, since the pandemic disrupted the society, separated people, isolated people, especially in the West, more than here, because we had a heavy lockdown. You couldn't go out of your house or work for months. So this kind of psychological wound, remained in the collective psyche, and the music can help the people, bring back the people to have a normal relationship, meet one each other, go to concert, play together. This is the first simple therapeutic power that music have. And then you can be more specific and say, I use this sound to help you overcome this problem. I want to remove this block in your mind or whatever. But this is more specific. I think the first kind of help that music can give naturally is bring people together, bring back together, hopefully.
Yes.
Also sports can have this kind of possibility, helping people socialize.
Okay, that's a reality. And then, okay, so you took music as the main subject of your research. Why? Why the reasons why you choose music as your main research?
My research, the need to mix music with psychology came quite naturally to me, because I'm a psychologist and a musician. So I found natural to bring the two things together. I said I can use music not only to enjoy music, have fun together in an artistic perspective, but I can use music in a therapeutical perspective, because actually it helped me to resolve personal problems and overcome personal limits. So I can help other people to do the same. When I came to Indonesia, I was invited by Universitas Malang to do some research, because they heard me in some seminary in UMM.
Oh, yeah.
And they invited me to say, let's do a research together. And I said, why not? So I figured out this idea to create a musical vocabulary that associate a certain simple sound to a psychological category. So I play, for example, two tones, two notes in a sequence, and I ask people, how do you feel about this?
Wow.
You feel it's cold, warm, you feel it's hard, you feel it's dry, do you feel it's soft, do you feel it's bright, dark, all these 10 categories with 7 different sound. Then another family, another 7, it's 3 families, and I asked the people how they feel about that. Then I made a statistical analysis of the answer we get through an online questionnaire. And then I have a figure of statistically how the people react to a certain sound, and how Indonesian people and Western people do react to a couple of sound. For example, let's try to give. I have a virtual piano here now, okay. Near the microphone, maybe. Can you hear these two sounds?
Yes.
Yeah, I play in a sequence. and back. Is it happy or sad?
Sad.
Sad, okay. So, this is a minor second interval. It's the smallest distance between two notes.
Okay.
C and C sharp and C. Most people say it's sad. It doesn't matter if you have a music education or not. Mostly, not 100%, but I think 90% of the people say it's sad.
Yes, yes.
Then I ask, is it cold or warm? Is it soft or hard? It's a 10 categories, different. And I do this with other sounds like this. Is it happy or sad?
Happy.
See, and the distance is larger.
Yeah.
As you close the distance, it's more sad. But there is a minimal difference like this or this. Okay, so the first is mostly happy, the second is mostly sad. And there's minimal difference. So you must know that composer knows these things very well since ever. But I wanted to do a statistical research about this, and this is I think the new part, that other research about this, but I did it my own way. I make a family of meanings, because later, when this year we finish the program, I will start a new one, hopefully. I will use this sound to make a therapy and call people emotion from sounds and insert a suggestion for a different emotion, changing the sound depending on how they react. You understand?
Yeah.
And I can use this to remove psychological problems and symptoms. I'm sure about this. I can use sound to heal anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder, which is two very specific psychological categories. To kind of anxiety, the people who feel anxiety, and obsessive compulsive disorder, like people who need to wash their hands 1,000 times a day, which is a form of personal religion, if you wish. It's very interesting how the human being developed these symptoms. They have a meaning. It's like a theater of the mind. So I can use music to remove these obstacles, this obstruction that prevent them to live maybe a free life or more happier life. And I can use sounds using imagination techniques, visualization techniques that are in use in behavioral psychology and traditional meditation, which I believe that modern cognitive behavioral psychology is a modern form of ancient meditation techniques like older, like 2,000 years old, that refer to ancient India and such kind of places. You find it all over the world. So the ancient people, the fathers, of the modern civilization, already knew these things very well. They knew how the brain was working. They didn't have the tools we have today to observe it. You can observe the brain in real time today. We have machine to see what part of the brain is working when you are thinking something. But in the past, they had a strong intuition about how it worked. And so they knew how to move it, something, how to make your mind change, if you wish, as your own desire tell you, or maybe they have some social need for organization of society. They knew everything. That's very interesting, because it means that we can use, and this is authentic, okay? We can use the knowledge of the past and convey in the modern era. We just have more scientific tools now. But the man, I think, more or less knew the same things. That's interesting.
Yeah. Good. I just want to know about your opinion about, because I see this trend the trend relates to most of popular songs use beat up rhythm, but the lyrics are sad. What do you think about that?
You mean about contemporary pop music?
Yes, yeah.
And the relationship to old music?
About this phenomenon, is it good for psychology?
You mean pop music? If it's good for our psychology?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe music as an expression, of a collective aesthetic category is today dictated by the industry. Of course, the people have a reaction, and they check our reaction mostly out of the connection we use to interact with the internet. So what YouTube video you like, what song you like, what you write to your friends, they know everything. And they have a statistic about that, so they know how to check our reaction. And as I do it with my therapy, they know how to direct your taste. So you have a certain likes and dislikes. I don't know what you use. Possibly you use YouTube and Instagram and Spotify, which is a kind of something I don't like very much personally, for personal reason, but that's another topic. And they immediately propose you in your feed, a suggestion of what you like and you don't like. They know your taste. It means they propose you something, and incidentally, you will choose those things, and they will influence your opinion because you will listen that rather than something else that lays outside of your knowledge. So I believe for someone that is very interested in music and doesn't have a superficial relationship with music, he has or she has to look outside his horizon. Okay, so search something that is not in your habit. That's where you can learn something new. For someone that have an average life and music is not so important, so let's call not musicians people, they will be influenced heavily by what the industry of music produces. Is it good? Is it not good? Of course, there are good outcomes and not so good outcomes. For example, it's notorious that institutions have to keep everything in order, otherwise we have a social chaos. If everybody is different, and they want to do something different, it will be more chaotic, more difficult to organize, just for example, a school. If everybody come to university, and everybody want to learn something different, it's not possible to make a program, to make a course, because everybody will have their own vision. So in human species, and this is a scientific concept that, and in the animal kingdom, they know that we have an imitation instinct. So the monkeys, they learn from the mother and the other member of the herd to imitate their behaviors. Very simple behaviors, maybe how to open a banana or where to find food or this kind of things. They can learn very quickly. And they can also imitate human beings, to sort. I've seen in Indonesia, a monkey riding a motorbike and dressing like Valentino Rossi in Gem Boulevard. Very funny. And so we have something that is similar, to animals. We like to imitate, to make a social group and feel safe because we look the same, so we make like a kind of tribe. It's a human instinct. And society cannot escape of this. Otherwise, it's chaos, it's disruption. And so music, if you wish, can help this in a good way. It's not so good when, for example, the people that stay outside of this industrial horizon because the industry thinks that they can't make much money out of that, you know. Even if they make beautiful music, but it's not inside the certain popular genre style, they are ignored. Ignored by the industry, ignored by the audience. You understand? Because simply they don't exist. So the internet is like an ocean. You have all kinds of fishes, but sometimes the most beautiful ones are not seen. They swim too deep in the ocean, and the people look only on the surface. So in this case, it's not good. And there are countless things we can enlist which are good and not good, but I think these two comes to mind. We should need maybe something that educate people to watch outside their habitual landscape, you know, and search outside. Today they say outside their comfort zone, you know, this idea is very popular, the comfort zone. But the people want to live only inside the comfort zone. Today, a cat in the street gave birth for the second time to 3 kittens. And she learned that we gave her shelter. So each time she gave birth to kittens, she come to our house, and now we have a cat nursery, you know, and that's a problem because the cat thinks that's the comfort zone. But that's also a problem. It is the same for music. But I believe that if you want to grow as a person, you want to develop your knowledge, your spirituality too, you must always look outside your comfort zone, because what you don't know already, by a matter of definition, is outside your comfort zone. That's the search in science, search in art, search in spirituality, search in human life, daily life, you know. The beautiful things, they stay outside the comfort zone most of the times, are not known, they are unseen by most. And the internet, I believe, you have everything there, but it's mostly, unfortunately, a conformist area. They teach you and dictate how to conform. But an artist, to be creative, cannot conform, you know. Art is doing something unique, something original. Something unique is outside the conformist group. All right.
Wow, that's great. I just want to share about my experience. I don't know, because you are a psychologist, I just want to know, is it real or not? If I see myself, I am hypersensitive person.
As?
Hypersensitive person, HSP.
A very sensitive person, you mean emotionally sensitive?
Yeah, emotionally. That's why I can feel the emotion directly after listening one song like that, and then it becomes worse if I replay the sad song over and over again. It destroys.
You mean the emotion loop?
Yeah.
Goes in a loop?
Is it real or not?
But is about some specific experience, or is a kind of general reaction you have to many things, or is something specific? Is it something specific or is it general?
It's specific, especially when I listen to heartbreak songs. Yeah.
It's about love.
Yeah.
But it's a very normal thing for a woman, you know. The women are sensitive because they have a biology. Listen, it's about the protection of human life, I believe. Women give birth to children. And we know this in psychology very well. They have a biological software, you know, basically, that makes them very sensitive, because they must immediately, that's the point, they must immediately read the children's needs and behavior. And the children cannot speak. They don't have a language yet. So they have to read it from how they move immediately. This is a kind of gift from nature. Otherwise, the child cannot be taken care of properly, and we risk it dies or there is a problem, you know. So nature give you as a woman in a different measure, some women more, some women less, this kind of ability to read other people's behavior immediately. That's for protection of the offspring, okay? That's why and of course, it happens also with the relationship with other people, you know, that you have this high sensitivity, emotional sensitivity, because you react as someone else feel. Yeah. I saw sometimes the emotion is maybe difficult to handle, especially in contemporary society. We must hide emotion, you know, but that's also natural. Emotion is read by the social group like a kind of weakness sometimes, you know. Yeah. So we are ashamed.
Yes.
But so it's not either a good and a bad thing. Naturally, I think it's a good thing. But socially, it can be difficult to handle. So my suggestion for the people who feel they are too emotional is to enroll some kind of artistic activity that involve the body and the acting. So the theater, for example. In the theater, you can release your emotion in a wide range of roles. You can be the good character, the bad character, you can be something in between, you can be some very evil figure. You can release emotion that in a normal society you cannot normally play, you know, because they are considered shameful or inappropriate. In the theater you can play like the fool or the crazy or an evil king, an evil bloody queen. You know, in Shakespeare we have extreme characters, and in Greek tragedy, which is the origin, authentic origin of the theater, where real life is translated in a theater play or tragedy. You can play very extreme roles that in human society are not allowed. If you do something like that, you will gradually be less afraid of your emotion, because you will know how to use them in the theater. And so you can do the same in life, because life is nothing less than a kind of theater someone else prepared for us.
I
you have got to know that it's very tricky, but when you discover that, you know, it's either funny and either not so funny, but there is a story you can check, you know, you can check every step, why we arrived at this, why we arrived at the point that you see the police with the uniform and you behave differently, you know, because there is a police. So isn't it a kind of theater? If they didn't have the uniform, you wouldn't pay any attention. This is just one example. Okay, I'm not saying that the police is not useful. They are necessary and they do a lot of good things. But we must understand that what we see is a kind of mental theater, and we don't know it. You're a smart young woman. You must know that. You're playing the game. We are all playing the game. And there's a reason for that. Otherwise, again, society will be shattered in total chaos, and everybody will have a problem, you know?
Okay, actually, how long have you been in Malang or Indonesia?
4 years. I arrived in November 2018 from Nepal, Kathmandu, Nepal.
Wow.
A legendary border of human nature and history, still a bit extreme, Nepal. One of the most extreme countries in the world.
Nepal.
Traditional.
Okay, if you see in Indonesia, maybe we still we still lack of music research. In your opinion, how to make it, how to improve the research, especially in music in Indonesia? How to make it possible?
Okay, I have some idea, you know. I come from the West, which is notoriously a very advanced culture, you know, very forward-thinking. And I try to set my ideas in Indonesia when they invited me in UM or Brawijaya several times, UMM. And then I understood that I have to read the context, you know, because sometimes I bring ideas, but maybe they are not taken, they're not correctly understood, or why? And I said, okay, I must understand this people culture, because maybe I give them something, but it's not fit for them, you know? They have a different perception and view of human life. Mm-hmm. And this chance, you know, when I met Reddy, I came with a beautiful paper with all my proposals, you know, and I say, okay, I do this, this, and this. And I look at him, you know, and I say, okay, maybe this man is interested in something different. I must understand what is. And then he showed me very apparently that one of the main topic and interest in your culture is the conservation of traditional culture, or some kind of traditional element, like authentic sound, you know, something. I said, okay, I can stay myself, I can remain myself, but I need to adapt a little bit to their need, which is different than mine. And their need as a culture is that it's very common, they want to preserve some element of cultural identity. While in the West, they want to be reduced to a kind of souvenir in this historical moment. Even political idea or historical facts. Now this kind of global culture, they think they are an obstacle to progress. And here you have a very conservative culture, you know. I said myself, okay, they are like this. Not only I must respect their own attitude, but I also share some of your ideas, you know. I believe that some traditional elements should be preserved, but not for a souvenir thing. It's for the protection of the human life as a natural being with his own necessity, which are different from the technological progress. Biology is not technology. If you wish, it's a natural technology, but technology is an imitation of biology, and evolution of life is an imitation, it's something that is born out of that. And first come the man, and we must protect the man and the woman as a natural identity with its own cultural elements that are naturally created inside the human environment. And so traditionally, I think is very much about that. You know, maybe, I don't know if you are completely aware of this, but as a people. But there's sometimes obsession, you know, sometimes it's an obsession that you have about traditional is a good thing. Sometimes it's too much, but you must find a middle way, you know. I think Indonesia needs some progress, and the West need to recollect his idea that this obsession for the transformation even of the human body through technology, which now express itself with the culture of transhumanism that is quite dominant in America, you know. This idea that you can transform your body through technology in whatever you want. It can be a kind of madness, perversion. It's very dangerous. Yeah. It must be handled carefully. I think we are not careful enough in this moment. There is too much enthusiasm about that, and we should be more careful. And the idea to protect your cultural environment in the form of any form of traditional element is important. And so now I adapt my work to this pervasive need that you have, the preservation of a cultural identity. So, for example, some composition I produce in my research, I made some composition, include Indonesian musical elements, like this. This is Kelik Desta Ramanto, one researcher in my thing, playing my composition. And later in the composition, he plays some kind of Javanese element in the scales he used.
So it sounds classic and modern.
Yeah. We use what is an adaptation of a Javanese scale, in this improvisation. I gave him something that is part of his cultural traditional background. And I learned it myself. So it's a kind of contemporary music, including Javanese original element, but you have a lot of musicians here in Indonesia doing the same. So I'm not doing anything so special. There are a lot of people working at this, but I think this is a good way to make something new, including old elements that otherwise will be forgotten. So we try to preserve some kind of human heritage.
And human minds.
And?
And human minds. If we preserve the tradition, we will save
the human mind is another big topic. We have people in the past who believe that reality is a creation of human mind. Can you imagine that? The Indians, sage of like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago maybe, they believe that like the primitive man, you have caves in the Sulawesi, I saw the photo outside here. You have caves of primitive society with handprints on the cave walls. They believe that reality is a dream. Can you imagine that? It's incredible. And the modern psychiatrist would say this is schizophrenia. So, of course, it can be schizophrenia. I've seen some people sick with schizophrenia, so it's a real thing. But a visionary, a mystic in the past was considered like a holy man. It's exactly the contrary. And this is the split in modern society and primitive culture. The primitive man believes that something strange is an emanation of some inner divinity you have inside of yourself, and so it's real, and through that principle you can change reality. We conserved a little bit of this primitive idea in the fact that artists create something new, out of themselves, and what they know and what they learned and experienced, they can change the shape of the world. But you just see the kuling, wayang kulit.
Yeah.
It's a product of imagination. Is it real? No, but now we have the wayang kulit. They represent heroes of the past. And now we see the building is the product of an architect, imagination.
Yes.
There was no building there before.
Yeah.
So we conserve this primitive idea that the human mind can create reality in a concrete way. But the early humans, they believe that is a magic phenomenon. So now it's raining, I see 3 people, you beside me, and if I do like 10 years meditation in a cave, I will realize that it's all a dream, and there is no separation between me and what I see outside. This, for a modern man, is considered a kind of psychotic condition, madness. But for a primitive man was the final truth, the final. So this is the mind. The mind is something that produces ideas, feelings, you have strong emotions. It's all in the mind. And if you take the mind away, what does remains? Nothing. You understand?
Yeah.
So, we are the mind, in a way. Without the mind, we have trees, and trees do have a sensitivity. We don't know exactly. Some people say yes, some people no. No, they don't have a nervous system. But if you don't give proper water to your flowers, they die. You can see that, you know. They can suffer too, maybe. I don't know. All right. So sorry, it's very complicated. I'm a philosophical animal, you know.
That's awesome. That's awesome to know about that. And actually, I'm curious to know about Mr. Reddy's opinion because he was from psychology too, yeah, in his undergraduate degree. Nah, I really want to know about your opinion, Mas Reddy. Ya, bagaimana pendapat Mas Reddy? Bagaimana sih pengaruh psikologi, gitu, pengaruh psikologi dengan kaitannya dengan bunyi-bunyian, terutama kan Mas Reddy adalah seorang musisi juga. Nah, itu bagaimana pendapat Mas Reddy? Gabungan antara psikologi dan musik.
Ya, terima kasih Ruli. Thanks Stefano for coming to our SDGs.
Thank you for inviting me.
Ya, menarik sebetulnya pembahasan siang ini gitu ya, Luli. Ketika saya kemarin berdiskusi dengan Stefano mengenai authentic sound gitu. Dalam artian seperti apa sih authentic sound itu? Jadi saya melihatnya ini ternyata mau tidak mau pasti berhubungan ya antara manusia dan bunyi. Jadi human and sound gitu kan. Terutama di Indonesia terkait dengan karakteristik sosialnya. Jadi eksplorasi komposisi yang seperti yang dibuat oleh Stefano dan juga komposisi saya juga ini berangkatnya dari realita dari hasil kombinasi dari bebunyian yang kemudian kita konversikan kepada medianya namanya musik itu. Jadi pada aspek psikologi misalkan saya melihatnya sebetulnya ini berkaitan erat dengan konteks DNA dari manusia Indonesia. Jadi kenapa hubungannya sangat erat? Karena unsur bunyi di pembentukan karakteristik di masyarakat sosial kita terutama itu sangat berpengaruh dan berdampingan. Salah satu contoh adalah ketika kita melihat beberapa kegiatan-kegiatan atau bentuk dari prosesi sosial di masyarakat, misalkan berupa ritual gitu ya, ritual dari pesta panen atau apa, itu pasti menggunakan aspek-aspek bebunyian yang kemudian dibentuk sedemikian rupa sesuai dengan kreativitas dan inovasinya, diterjemahkan pada aspek musik misalkan. Jadi contoh di komposisi gamelan karya Kinarto Sabdo itu ada beberapa tembang atau gending yang memang difokuskan pada apa ya, bentuk-bentuk gending-gending untuk wilayah-wilayah agraris gitu. Jadi kayak lesung jemenglung kayak gitu. Jadi kenapa lesung gitu? Karena idiom lesung itu memang dipakai oleh masyarakat agraris. Tapi bagaimana mengekspresikan ini bukan hanya pada persoalan instrumen lesung saja, tapi karena di situ ada unsur bunyinya sehingga termotivasi secara psikis untuk bersemangat dan berenergi bagaimana membangun aktivitas produksi di ruang agraris itu. Nah itu linkage ya, keterhubungan. Nah dalam hal ini authentic sound, social sound yang ada di Indonesia itu memang harus mulai banyak digali. Karena di saya melihatnya efeknya sangat luar biasa sebetulnya. Bukan hanya di aspek produk musik, Contoh misalkan ketika kita berbicara soundscape, bagaimana di video pertama tadi Stefano merespon beats, ya, merespon lautan, karakter laut. Waktu itu you play in Bali ya, you like game session with your saxophone in the beach ya. Bagaimana Stefano itu menangkap bahwa atmosfer atau lokasi tersebut itu sudah musikal, karena banyak unsur-unsur bunyi di situ dan kemudian direspon oleh Stefano. Karena
I heard the tradition, the authentic sound of creation on the beach.
Ya.
The primordial sound of creation.
Ya, sehingga terbangun betul apa yang dikatakan oleh Stefano dengan primordial destination ya. Tapi berupa sound. Nah, ini yang saya bilang bahwa ini nanti muncul sound destination semacam itu. Artinya bahwa bunyi sebagai media untuk membangun komunikasi baik lintas personal ataupun kolektif ataupun membangun entitas nation secara tidak langsung. Kita melihat India misalkan. India itu ketika di film-film India kemudian walaupun tidak dimunculkan musiknya, instrumennya, tapi karakter sitar itu sangat mempengaruhi dan membangun alam bawah sadar kita bahwa oh ini sound dari India. Ini membangun mengidentifikasi ya, artinya gitu. Mengidentifikasi. Sama dengan di Jawa gitu. Ketika gamelan ditabuh gitu, bahwa orang di dunia pun akan memahami bahwa gamelan ada di Indonesia, baik Jawa ataupun Bali atau Sumatera gitu. Semacam itu. Dan ini bagi saya hubungannya dengan persoalan psikologis itu karena saya sempat ya membuat catatan gitu ya, catatan bahwa tubuh kita itu sebetulnya musikal. Our body is musical gitu. Mulai dari heart, jantung, mulai dari detik denyut nadi dan semuanya itu saya pikir kayak kalau kita di wilayah dunia musik misalkan jam session dengan aspek jazz, dengan aspek apapun lah gitu, bermain gamelan pun dengan jam session segala macamnya, itu ada titik keseimbangan, ada konsensus gitu, ada konsensus bagaimana oh ini diperankan sebagai apa. Nah tubuh kita juga mengalami konsensus semacam itu, artinya kita ya harus balance ya, istirahat yang cukup. Nah, itu kan bagian dari konsensus. Dan saya sempat melempar isu semacam ini ke teman-teman di kedokteran gitu kan. Wah ini keren ya, memang iya gitu. Artinya itu hubungannya dengan health body gitu ya, kesehatan tubuh. Dan bisa bayangkan ketika sound authentic sound ini kita bangun sedemikian rupa dan kita kuatkan gitu, maka titik keseimbangan ruang kita itu akan terjadi gitu. Ya ini yang dimaksud dengan ruang musikal itu. Jadi ya saya pikir tidak ada sesuatu yang tidak berhubungan, semuanya berhubungan. Artinya saya sebagai musisi dan juga sebagai komposer gitu kan, dan juga si Revano, fase kami itu bagaimana ini terintegral semuanya. Kenapa di ruang sosial? Karena kita hidup di Indonesia dan itu sangat kuat konteks interaksi sosial semacam itu. Dan pasti linkit gitu. Bebunyian yang dihasilkan oleh baik itu dari alam ataupun dari mana, dari dari olah kreasi manusia itu sendiri, itu pasti akan membangun sebuah karakter. Saya pikir itu Mbak Rudi.
Saya tertarik dengan pernyataan Mas Reddy yang mengatakan bahwa semisal authentic sound itu diangkat, itu berarti otomatis lingkungan kita akan seimbang. Nah, bagaimana cara Mas Reddy mengetahui bahwa itu authentic sound? Apakah yang disebut authentic itu berbicara tentang entitas atau justru sebuah identitas yang perlu kita tingkatkan supaya itu bisa menjadi autentik ala kita sendiri gitu sebagai masyarakat yang berbudaya di Indonesia?
Authentic sound itu menurut pemahaman saya itu lebih kepada membangun kesepakatan itu. Contoh misalkan pada persoalan pengucapan, fonologi dari salah satu suku misalkan, atau suku Nias. Kemarin saya sempat dikirimi video oleh teman-teman yang ada di Nias gitu kan, yang lagi ya menyapa di sana gitu kan. Saya mengamati masyarakat di sana itu bagaimana mereka berbicara itu rata-rata menggunakan huruf hidup gitu. Huruf hidup A, I, U, E, O itu gitu. Itu kan juga punya tanda, punya penanda bahwasannya karakter fonologi dari pengucapan masyarakat di Nias itu semacam itu gitu. Ternyata saya konfirm ke teman-teman di NTT, di Flores hampir sama gitu. Ada korelasi bahwa menggunakan banyak huruf hidup gitu, semacam itu. Dan ketika dihubungkan dengan ruang musikal juga, maka akan berpengaruh secara ruang kreasi, bahwa bentuk musiknya pun akan mendominasi pada huruf-huruf hidup gitu. Nah, dari situlah kemudian kita kan masyarakat setempat itu secara tidak langsung terpersuasi oleh daya kreasi yang mungkin berupa musik atau berupa sound, human sound kayak gitu ya, hasil dari suara manusia kayak gitu. Itu kan kemudian ditandai dan itulah yang dimaksud dengan identitas gitu ya, yang terbangun dengan menyesuaikan dengan aspek kelokalannya. Nah, saya pikir authentic sound ini sifatnya juga dinamis sesuai dengan perkembangan ruang dan perkembangan zaman. Berbeda ruang-ruang yang ada di ruang rural dan ruang urban itu juga berbeda karakteristiknya. Bagaimana hiruk pikuk suara klakson, suara mobil dan macam-macam itu kan membangun entitas ruang itu. Ketika kita hidup di Jakarta, kemudian berbeda kita hidup di Kepanjen atau di Malang Selatan yang memang masih rural gitu kan. Kita sudah bisa membayangkan atau bisa merasakan bahwa pembedanya itu bukan hanya pada aspek visual gitu, tapi pada aspek auditif juga akan terasa. Nah, itu yang saya tertarik dalam akhir-akhir ini untuk mengulik itu, karena itu bagi saya sebuah aset yang luar biasa, dan kita punya keragaman dan yang sesuai dengan karakteristik pulau ruang di Indonesia itu semacam itu.
Kalau berbicara keunikan lokasi dan bunyi itu sudah tergambar ya kalau di Indonesia itu sesederhana suara azan azan itu di luar negeri itu mana nih azannya gitu ya, sesuai pengalaman teman-teman yang kuliah di luar negeri gitu, wah nggak ada azan, kapan azan gitu teman-teman. Terus itu yang unik juga ya, hal sederhana seperti itu, kalian tahu kan bunyi-bunyian yang biasanya lewat naik motor itu backgroundnya
itu tidak ditemukan di negara-negara yang lain yang hanya ada di Indonesia. Misalkan itu kan dipakai dengan dunia-dunia advertorial ya. Katakanlah saya kasih contoh suara yang biasa orang jualan es krim. Itu secara tidak langsung anak-anak kecil itu pasti akan lari dan mereka merasa terpanggil dan tertarik. Ada apa gitu kan? Artinya bahwa itu adalah sesuatu yang menarik karena dipantik oleh persoalan bunyi yang memang diperuntukkan untuk persoalan marketing misalnya. Lalu gitu. Nah, itu kan di wilayah misalkan kalau teman-teman arranger atau komponis itu bisa direcord dan kemudian dikomposisi, dibikin sedemikian rupa yang kemudian menjadikan hasil musik yang bisa disajikan dengan istilah kontemporer gitu. Semacam itu.
Menarik sekali Mas.
Itu dulu.
Saya mungkin teman-teman yang lain juga penasaran ya. Tadi kan sebelum saya mengenalkan Mas Reddy, saya sempat menyebutkan bahwa Mas Reddy adalah penggagas festival Kampung Cempluk. Terus itu juga tergabung dalam sebuah band, sebuah kelompok musik yang disebut sebagai duo etnik publik. Terus itu di grup kelompok musik tersebut saya lihat Mas Reddy sering sekali menggunakan dawai cempluk. Nah, itu gimana sih Mas ceritanya? Coba bisa nggak ceritakan ke kita?
Ya, dawai cempluk itu berangkat dari yaitu tadi kegelisahan tentang sebuah bentuk entitas gitu ya, bentuk entitas yang memang dicempluk itu kan yang awalnya rural gitu kan, kemudian berubah dan kita ada di Malang ini. Kompleksitas dari kemajemukannya sangat luar biasa. Artinya saya bilang Malang ini sebagai kota perjumpaan. Ya, maksudnya perjumpaan ide, perjumpaan orang, perjumpaan gagasan, perjumpaan macam-macam. Dan ini yang perlu ketika semakin kompleks ya, semakin dinamis ruang tersebut, maka perlu dimunculkan sebuah istilahnya authenticity yang harus dikeluarkan gitu, yang harus dimunculkan gitu. Nah, dalam hal ini dawai cempluk itu berangkatnya dari situ, dari saya melihatnya Malang belum punya instrumentasi khas gitu ya, khas yang autentik gitu. Kalau kita berangkat Kalimantan mungkin misalkan Kaltim, daerah Kaltim bisa Samarinda atau Tenggarong atau mana itu muncul sape ya kan. Kayak gitu, dapat alat-alat yang memang berangkat dari etnisitas gitu. Gamelan pun di sini kan Jawa beda, Jawa Malang, Jawa Mataraman gitu kan, Jawa Timuran, termasuk Osing. Nah, Osing ini yang menarik ini Banyuwangi gitu kan, sama-sama di Jawa, tapi mereka juga punya karakteristik instrumen tersendiri seperti angklung, caruk itu gitu kan, dan juga cara memainkan biola yang tidak pada umumnya tapi di dada gitu kan, dengan soundnya yang memang khas gitu kan. Nah, waktu itu kita hanya memunculkan itu di mana sih muncul ya, dimulai dari kampung aja gitu kan. Dimulai dari ruang kampung kita munculkan bahwa kita kasih nama instrumen yang berbasis kampung gitu. Ya kita namai kampungnya itu. Jadinya dawai cempluk gitu. Semacam itu. Ya kita mainkan sesuai dengan kapasitas yang saya bisa gitu. Dan itu tidak kami pakemkan dan terserah bisa direspon seperti apa. Yang jelas alat ini harus muncul dulu. Instrumen ini harus muncul dulu sebagai bagian dari hasil kreasi yang memang itu bikinan dari margasi itu asli gitu. Dengan proses sedemikian rupa, artinya bahan-bahannya yang bahan-bahan kayak sampah kayu kan gitu kan dikelit, dan idenya memang sederhana, bagaimana itu terpantik menjadi ruang kegiatan kreativitas semacam itu. Ya kalau gitu kan, jadi DNA itu perlu dioptimalkan gitu dan di recognize ke yang bisa kami lakukan, terutama saya di persoalan sound gitu. Ya udah gitu.
Ada kemungkinan tidak menjadikan dawai cempluk ini sebagai ciri khas Malang, karena kan musik tradisional khas Malang itu belum ada. Kalau dari Mas Reddy sendiri seperti apa? Ada nggak mungkin tujuan ke situ gitu, supaya seluruh masyarakat Kota Malang itu sepakat bahwa ini punyanya Malang gitu,
Ya, kalau itu makanya authentic sound itu harus ada konsensus gitu.
Oh iya.
Harus ada kesepakatan gitu. Ya itu kita mulai dari kesepakatan kecil aja dulu. Ya bisa jadi ketika kita bikin kesepakatannya bahwa instrumen khas Malang itu instrumen yang berbasis kampung misalnya. Nggak tahu kampung Kidul Pasar, instrumennya apa kentongan atau apa. Tapi munculkan bahwa itu berangkat dari Kidul Pasar gitu, atau kampung Polean atau mana gitu. Sehingga variabelnya kan semakin kaya gitu. Tapi tetap berbasis kampung, instrumen berbasis kampung, bukan berbasis etnis. Bukan berbasis etnis. Tapi rata-rata yang kita ketahui kan berbasis etnis. Iya. Jadi kan ini juga sisi positifnya saya melihatnya akan menambah variabel kasanah instrumentasi yang ada di Indonesia. Termasuk tahun 2016 saya juga membantu dengan teman-teman, termasuk Mas Buyana, termasuk Mbak Ii gitu kan, membantu bagaimana sih memunculkan musik yang berbasis instrumen yang berbasis relief gitu kan, sehingga jadi sound of Borobudur. Nah itu kan terjadi produk kreativitas lagi gitu kan, dan kaya sebetulnya kita itu ketika kita mau untuk mengulik gitu kan hal-hal semacam itu sehingga kan jadi authentic sound tersendiri itu. Jadi karakternya Dawai Borobudur tuh begini gitu karena ini berangkatnya dari apa, dari dari relief yang ada di Borobudur. Kan tidak ada referensi bunyinya, ya tidak apa-apa kita interpretasikan dengan konteks yang kita mampu gitu. Karena kan memang referensinya hanya visual gitu kan, dari dinding relief itu, semacam itu.
Sangat unik sekali ya teman-teman ya. Wah, kita bisa membayangkan misalkan itu terjadi, akan sangat ramai sekali ya di negara kita. Jangankan negara, Malang aja sudah banyak kampung, berarti banyak juga alat-alat musiknya, dan itu sangat luar biasa. Untuk teman-teman tahu ya, duo Etnik-holic itu kelompok musik yang sudah berprestasi sampai dunia internasional teman-teman. Coba kalian search di YouTube atau di Google, pasti itu prestasi ini gitu ya Mas ya. Keren banget.
Awal pandemi ikut kompetisi di negaranya beliau, di Itali.
Berjumpa?
Ya enggak. Ya saya cerita.
Gitu.
Saya baru ketemu dengan Stefano itu kan kemarin malam waktu kita tampil di acara di acara DMCC ya. Jadi Malang Boys itu. Kita tampil di situ dan Stefano juga hadir dan rupanya mengamati perjalanan karya dari kita gitu kan, termasuk dengan istri beliau Mbak Rosida gitu kan. Dia sebetulnya lama sudah berteman di Facebook, cuman tidak saling sapa aja, baru ketemu kemarin gitu. Itu jadi hanya ada kecocokan ketika kita diskusi, dan kemudian ya terjadilah sekarang gitu. Ayo kita ngobrolin aja gitu di SDGs gitu, semacam itu dulu.
Karena kita butuh sekali ya, Mister juga diskusi-diskusi semacam ini ya, yang terutama tentang pembahasan musik itu sangat-sangat jarang, karena kita memandang musik itu masih menjadi hiburan. Jadi hiburan itu terpisahkan dari yang serius gitu ya. Padahal kalau kita lihat-lihat ya, kalian lebih sering belajar di depan buku atau dengerin musik, pasti lebih sering dengerin musiknya karena galaunya lebih sering, karena kalian dengerin musik patah hati juga gitu loh. Nah itulah kenapa tidak menjadikan sesuatu yang selama ini kita singkirkan, selama ini kita anggap sebagai sesuatu yang tidak penting, itu ternyata penting juga loh teman-teman. Kalau kalian sadar kan sebenarnya dunia kita ini sedang diinvasi secara global itu dengan popular culture juga ya, lewat musik. Apalagi sekarang kayak pop lagi menjamur, belum lagi yang lain-lain. Nah itu kan ada upaya sebenarnya secara halus ya teman-teman ya, menginvasi kita ya, bangsa Indonesia itu untuk cenderung ke mereka saja gitu. Kita diajak untuk melupakan nilai-nilai tradisi kita. Nah itu yang berbahaya ya. Karena apa sih kenapa berbahayanya ya? Karena nanti kita akan lupa dengan identitas kita, terus kita bingung mau
seperti apa ya, bagaimana caranya menguatkan kerekatan bangsa Indonesia ini sendiri gitu. Mungkin ini sudah mulai penghujungnya Mas ya? Ini sudah penghujung, sudah 1 jam. Ini?
Ya.
Sudah penghujung.
Ya atau bisa mau putar. Maybe you want to play your composition with
some music.
Yeah, some music. Now it's okay.
Okay, so let's listen. This is a song that I just mixed yesterday. It's interesting because it's inside this project, Contemporary Raga, and there are 2 musicians. It's me on saxophones, alto and soprano, and there is one Indonesian musician which is called Joko Teboni, he lives in Tumpang, and another Italian virtuoso guitar player. And it's not online. It will be online on Christmas, so you are the first one to hear this music.
Oh, so special.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
And it's being produced thanks to the internet. So the internet can help us to do something that was impossible in the past, because I went to Tumpang and I record Joko percussion. Then I play the saxophone and the guitar at home, and then I send the file to someone in Italy who play guitar on top of that, and then I bring everything in my computer and I mix it. And the title is Vela. Vela is a Sanskrit word that means 2 things. It means time and means also tide, so it's the movement of the sea. And this employs some kind of Arab harmony. Okay. Yeah. Can I say something very short about music? So I want to name the musicians who participated to this beautiful composition of mine, which is Joko Tebon, who lives in Tumpang, and he has his own artistic activity with a group called Pangilara, I think, and his community. And there is Alessandro Tutoli, which is a wonderful virtuoso guitar player who lives in Bologna, my city. And myself, Stefano Pallini, I use my mother name as an artist here, you know. And this project is called Contemporary Raga, which is authentic and not authentic, you know, because I use traditional elements and my own personal vision of music. And this is, I think, authentic is something inside of us. You have to bring it out. Must have the courage to bring it out, your identity. This is truly authentic. And it's not easy, you know, because you don't have to be afraid that the people don't understand you. You know, you don't use some kind of conventional expression. And I think it's a responsibility for the artist to be authentic and intense. One musician in Berlin, one night, I asked him in Germany. He was making very strange music with noises, but interesting. He tells a story through noises. And that's their culture there, you know? And I said, what is important for an artist? And he said, an artist must be intense. It's like the sky is intense, you know, it's very short definition and very powerful, very authentic. So I try to be original and intense, and create with my sound a space for your imagination, not my imagination. My music must be empty. And you must paint it with your own imagination. So I try to create some space where you can feel it with your emotion, your imagination. That's is important for me, and do something that I think everybody can understand is music. You know, it's very elaborated, but I think everybody can understand it. So the raga gave me this, the raga model gave me this opportunity. The raga is a way to tell a story through music, but you have to tell the story. It's not easy. That's all. Also, the authentic sound is the sound of the beach of Balikampang or Goachina that day when I played the song. And that's what happened. I get there with an idea in my mind, you know. I think I want to play this way in this beautiful scenery. And when I went there, I started to play. She was taking the video. I remember very well that the sea was saying something to me. He said, hey, listen to me. You can't play this way. I am the authentic sound in this place. I'm singing. Listen to me. You play with me. And I did it. And it was the, I think, beautiful moment in my life and in my music, you know. I was really playing with the sea. It was giving the rhythm. Very powerful. And I could not play my own way. I had to adapt the situation. Yeah. I believe that's authentic, you know. It's something you find inside yourself. It's not conventional. It's your unique identity, not even as an artist, like a human being, like a person. And the society we are going to create for the future must respect the identity of the people, you know. We don't have to make little robots of all of us, you know, that we must remain this human quality that we can create something unique. And technology must help in this endeavor, I believe. So they can listen, all the people who listen this talk show, this conversation we have, they can listen all my music at my website, which is vata.org. on the YouTube channel, but more the website, because in the website I write also my idea, the presentation of my music, the presentation of the result of my research. They can read more information at my website, which is Vata.org. Rosie made this wonderful shirt. I had the luxury, I never had in my life. We also make our own clothes. Yeah, I believe that making your own clothes, you must imagine the clothes, the dress. You must imagine yourself wearing the dress. So you must shape something that is fit to your body, not an industrial product. And then you go to the tailor or you make it yourself. You choose the fabric and you dress yourself as you think that it can enrich and express your personality. And this is the concept of artist Friedrich Hundertwasser. He said that we don't have to dress like the industry tell us. We must make our own dress. And he called this concept the second skin, because he believed that the dress is the second skin. And you have to draw it. You have to decide how you want to look. That's your second skin when you go in life, in society, every day. And so I follow this concept. I make my own dresses, and I use the traditional Indonesian element, authentic, like the batik, to make my clothes. There's another authentic, and not authentic because I'm not Indonesian, but I can make something of my own, something unique. You don't have to be ashamed to be yourself. Okay, that's the point. You have to make the best with what you have now. That's the point. Make the best with what you have now, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not something conventional. You have to be brave and make the best of what you know.
Make yourself.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Wow, you love Stefano. Wow.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh my God.
I also agree with you that if you say music narrates a story, because that's an experience I got to when the first time ever I went to an orchestra performance. That was in 2019, I remember. So the organizer was Jakarta Philharmonic, Jakarta Philharmonic. And in that time, I still remember the moment when I listened to Gustav Mahler's compositions, and I could feel the dynamics of the emotion from that music. It was misery, it was happiness, and yes, that was very interesting. And after I came to that event, surprisingly, I slept well. I slept well, and I had a very beautiful dreams that time. Maybe
about what?
About me running in the flower garden. Oh my God. Yeah, I still remember that. Yes, and I'm with you when you say psychology also relates too much with songs. Yes.
One night, I don't know how many years ago, I was a student in a university. I went to sleep, and I slept very hard. In English they say you sleep like a dog. And in the sleep, I had the vision, not exactly a dream. It was more like a vision, and it was like the sky. I cannot explain. And there was a symphony, and it was an incredible sound, like all instruments playing together. They made a huge symphony, and there was a simple melody on top, played with something like the violin. So I said myself, this must be paradise, and this is the sound of paradise I'm hearing now. I must remember tomorrow when I wake up. So after the dream, I woke up. I ran to the music sheet and I wrote down the melody not to forget it in the morning because I knew I would forget it. And I still have the paper of the Sound of Paradise. I know how does it sound, I believe, but I forgot all the sound that was below that melody. So I have only the melodic fragment, but the harmony is lost. I cannot remember. I can just have a vague idea. And I never was able to retrieve it. So even if I heard it, I forgot it. There's something magic, something really magic. Maybe someday I will remember that and I can play with the real orchestra. I don't know, that's I always think about that moment I had for a few, maybe 1 minute in my dream. That was authentic 100%. But you forget it.
And also, I know that you guys are curious to know bagaimana sih bunyi dawai cempluk, ada nggak Mas Reddy di penampilannya? Pasti ada.
Saya harus ini ya.
We couldn't live without music. It would be a terrible world. That's really therapeutic. Can you imagine a world without music? It would be terrible, like a desert.
Yeah, but it's impossible about that.
It's possible. The silence is a form of music.
Sometimes sort of silent like this. Maybe you can help me for goes to Duo any colleague YouTube and play from your mobile phone.
Play what?
Duo any colleague. There's Luli. What will be?
Can I access
want to-
YouTube?
Yeah. What do you need?
YouTube apps? Do you want to?
I'm not sure.
Or maybe we can
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting about the authentic sound. This because everyone is have like complicated about that. Yeah.
Tenang dulu kemuliaan ya.
Boleh.
Oke.
I know that problem. You have to use this opera. If you use opera, you don't have duo
Ethnic.
Without H.
Colleague. Ethnic. Ethnic colleague. So now we want to check video, right? So now you can choose, and you will play without the advertisement, without the other advertisement.
Punya live concert? Nggak masalah ya Mas?
Ya apa? Ya, lagu ini tagline dari album Dua Nikolit ya, Nandur Kamuliaan. Jadi menanam kebaikan, menanam kemuliaan. Ya harapannya kan dengan media musik ini bagaimana bisa memantik kita selaku manusia itu memunculkan banyak memunculkan banyak hal-hal yang tentunya hal-hal yang baik lah, hal yang baik. Walaupun kita juga bukan makhluk yang sempurna. Gitu. Tapi paling tidak dengan ajakan menggunakan media lagu ini harapannya ya bisa menyeimbangkan itu tadi. Artinya ada aspek yang tentunya bisa memantik untuk melakukan sesuatu yang bisa bermanfaat dengan satu dengan yang lain. Saya pikir itu dari saya dan terima kasih Mbak Luli sudah menggawangi podcast SDGs ini yang kelima ya.
Mungkin ini kenal di penghujung acara ya teman-teman ya. Mungkin
apa baiknya kita mendengarkan closing statement dari dua pembicara keren kita hari ini. Mungkin you may close something with inspirational quotes or maybe motivations for us.
Thank you. Hopefully, we try to give people something useful, to say something useful for the people to make some use of. You know, we don't only talk about ourselves. I'm this, I'm that, I do this, we try to do, even through music, you know, give some space for imagination, because everything is imagination, art, science, society, whatever as the base of the imagination, and imagination must fill those things that are created. Without imagination, there is no life. So we have tried to empower other people's imagination through music. I think that's very important. And that's important that the people that have some musical skill, whatever is the level, you know, it doesn't matter if you are a beginner or you are a professional. You must start on the base of your creativity, which is in my opinion, is the divine power in a human being, the ability to create something which not exists yet. It's going to exist in the future, and you work tirelessly to make some kind of perfection out of errors. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your amazing closing statement. And now, let's hear the closing statement from Mr. Reddy.
Ya, bagi saya bunyi adalah modal dari sebuah kehidupan. Ketika kita menyadari bahwa aset bunyi ini menjadi sesuatu yang bisa menggerakkan satu dengan yang lainnya, baik itu ruang-ruang yang tentunya real dan unreal gitu. Ini bisa disinkroniskan menjadi kehidupan yang lebih berharmoni lagi. Dan saya sepakat dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Stefano tentang bahwa imajinasi itu harus kita jaga terus gitu. Karena itu menjadi aset bagaimana kita memantik baik itu ruang kreatif yang kemudian muncul inovasi-inovasi dan tentunya bisa diimplementasikan di ruang-ruang kehidupan kita, baik itu yang berbasis sains atau non-sains gitu. Dan mudah-mudahan publik dan juga para sahabat SDGs UB terus menyimak forum Selosoan ini, dan kita tentunya akan terus memberikan inspirasi-inspirasi, gagasan-gagasan dengan obrolan yang tentunya lebih mengasihkan lagi.
Amin.
Sampai itu dari saya.
Oke. Terima kasih banyak untuk Mas Reddy
Untuk closing statement-nya, Dan tibalah kita di penghujung acara ya teman-teman ya. Tapi sebelum forum Selosoan hari ini kita akhiri, bagi teman-teman yang ingin mendapatkan sertifikat partisipasi, bisa langsung mengakses bit.ly/forum Selosoan SDGs UB. SDGs-nya SDGs UB, seperti itu ya. Oke. Nanti kita akan mengakumulasi data-data yang masuk sehingga teman-teman akan mendapatkan sertifikat secara digital. Jangan lupa ya mengisi form dari awal sampai akhir karena ya disitulah kalian bisa submit dan bisa mendapatkan sertifikatnya. Dan kami harap tidak hanya saya ya, teman-teman bisa selalu mengikuti acara kita setiap hari Selasa karena namanya saja Forum Selosoan ya, dan bisa mendapatkan banyak informasi dan pengetahuan yang bermanfaat bagi teman-teman semuanya. Oke, terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih
for your coming. We're so glad meeting with you.
Thank you very much.
And then thank you so much for Mr. Reddy juga ya sudah berkenan hadir di acara kita hari ini, dan alhamdulillah ini terang meskipun mendung gitu ya teman-teman ya. Kalian bisa sambil mendengarkan musik mungkin ini sekarang ya. Oke, sebelumnya saya ingin menutup forum hari ini dengan bukan pepatah sih sebenarnya ya, ungkapan dari Plato. Plato tuh bilang gini ya, kurang lebih itu seperti ini. According to Plato tuh seperti ini. Music is able to make a country have great power and glory. On the other hand, music is also able to encourage crime and undermine government. People with low morals view music only as a means of entertainment and of having fun. Kalau kita translatekan dalam bahasa Indonesia, musik mampu membuat suatu negara memiliki kekuatan yang besar serta kejayaan. Sebaliknya, musik juga mampu mendorong kejahatan dan meruntuhkan pemerintahan. Masyarakat yang bermoral rendah ini ya, memandang musik hanya sebagai sarana hiburan dan alat bersenang. Hati-hati teman-teman, kita sudah diperingati oleh Plato ya. Selama kita masih memandang musik atau segala bentuk bunyi-bunyian itu sebagai sesuatu yang sepele, maka bisa dikatakan kita menjadi masyarakat yang bermoral rendah. Nah, itulah bagaimana ya seharusnya kita ya sebagai masyarakat Indonesia bisa menaikkan level kita menjadi masyarakat yang bermoral, yaitu dengan menjadikan musik sebagai sesuatu yang bermakna sehingga kita bisa mengkaji lebih dalam lagi dan tidak meremehkan sesuatu yang biasa kita anggap sebagai popular culture gitu ya. Makanya ini calling buat kita semua untuk tetap belajar ya, untuk memperdalam ilmu. Okay, thank you so much for your participation today. I do hope you guys have a great day. Sekian. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nice to meet you.
You made my moment easier. You speak very well and I can understand everything. Sometimes in Indonesia it's difficult, you know.
Yeah.
It's not easy.